Right now, we're hearing from the Packers and the fans as they celebrate a victory over the Seahawks and a trip to the NFC Championship.
But first, Live Drive is up and running this morning. We're bringing you team coverage of your slippery, snowy commute, plus what's next in the forecast straight ahead.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning, everyone. It is Monday, January 13th. I'm Josh Sprider.
And I'm Leah Lynchide. We begin this morning with team coverage of some slick road conditions, starting with Hattie and her first alert forecast.
Yeah, we did get a fresh layer of snow overnight across southern Wisconsin. We had about another inch of snow here in the backyard weather patio at the station. Here's a live look at Raymond Road on the west side of town. You can see it has been plowed. However, there still is some snow left on the road. You may run into some slippery spots this morning, especially in those side streets or bridges and overpasses. Also, in addition to the slower road conditions, plan a little extra time to clean off the car this morning. You're going to have to brush off all that extra snow. Clear off. Yeah.
So a little delayed today.
Yeah, and if you didn't clear it off for the weekend, there'll definitely be some scraping that you have to do. So plan some extra time for that. But again, make sure the car is clear before you hit the road this morning. Doppler track is showing you that the snow is winding down pretty quickly for the area. This was mainly an overnight event for southern Wisconsin. There may still be a little bit of freezing drizzle that's occurring in some spots. That's just too light to be detected by the radar map. Our temperatures this morning are in the mid-20s here. We'll climb to highs in the low to mid-30s this afternoon, just slightly above the freezing point. It is going to be a mess as temperatures warm up later today. I know that Josh is antsy, want to clean the car after the weekend. That car wash forecast, not the best. If you do it, keep in mind it's not going to stay clean for very long. We have a very active weather pattern coming up this week. Let's take a look at those first alert traffic maps early this morning. Looking pretty clear on the belt line, but not as nice on the side streets, so keep that in mind. We're seeing some more yellow spots on some of those roads coming into Madison, so it is a little slower than normal right now. We'll send it over to Keely, though. She is actually out on the roads this morning. What are you seeing, Keely?
Hi, Hattie. I am seeing a lot of snow, as you could imagine. I drove into work at around 4 a.m. this morning, and the roads were pretty snow covered at that point. I do use East Washington to get to the station, and we are back on East Washington right now. And I say all this because I just want to explain the improvement that you are seeing. We were seeing kind of all the lanes covered in snow, one lane plowed. Now all of them are plowed, but obviously it is tough for those crews to get through all of the main thoroughfares. So hopefully they'll go over this again, but very clear, all things considered. We drove on University. That's another place where it's pretty clear, but there are some spots where it's just down to one lane because that's all crews could do at that point. Whitney Way was also pretty snowy. Now, I just spoke with the Madison Streets Division. They said they had 34 of their crews out overnight to deal with this snow. It's been obviously a really busy, long weekend for those hardworking men and women. They said 32 of those trucks were out plowing snow. 2 of them were putting down salt and sand in some more residential areas. So they are working on improving the driving conditions for you. But if you are driving this morning, I would suggest giving yourself at least 30 minutes, maybe even an hour. I know that sounds excessive, but it's going to be pretty jam-packed this morning, I bet. I'll send it back to you, Josh and Leah, and we will be giving you another update shortly.
Keely Arthur keeping us safe. Thank you very much. Now remember, you can download our free Channel 3000 weather and traffic app and be the first to know when weather that will affect your day is headed your way with the most up-to-date and accurate weather conditions.
A milk truck driver is fighting life-threatening injuries after spinning out of control on icy roads. Police say the truck hit a patch of ice on County Highway J in Monroe over the weekend. Officials said the driver wasn't wearing a seatbelt and was thrown from the vehicle and the airbags didn't deploy. The tank, which was filled with milk at the time, also leaked out after the crash.
New information now. The 66-year-old man who was killed in a crash with an Alliant Energy truck was a former Sun Prairie High School teacher and coach. The Sun Prairie Star reports Stephen Riggins coached cross-country and track and field for 24 years before retiring in 2008. Riggins helped lead the Cardinals to win 2 Big 8 Conference championships in 1992 and 93. Both Riggins and his dog were killed in the crash in Columbia County when an Alliant Energy truck blew through a stop sign and hit his car. Now, the company is responding with a statement saying, in part, we're cooperating with local officials in their full investigation of the accident. We take safety seriously of our customers, employees, and the public. It's our first priority.
More local news now. An area city is considering allowing sex offenders to live closer to schools, and there's a meeting today to discuss it. The city of Reedsburg says that sex offenders currently can't live within 1,500 feet of a child safety zone, which includes schools or community buildings. They're looking to scale that back to 1,250 feet to give more options for them to live. The city wants to hear from you on this. Tonight's meeting is at 7 at Reedsburg City Hall.
A former Madison police officer is suspending his campaign for the Madison School Board. The city clerk's website says Wayne Strong's name will still be on the ballot since he already submitted paperwork. This was Strong's third attempt to be elected to the school board after losing in 2013 and 14. Before ending his campaign, Strong told News 3 Now he chose to run to help close the achievement gap and end what he calls the school-to-prison pipeline. The other candidate for Seat 7 is incumbent Nikki Vandermolen.
Starting tonight, you might hear some extra noise around Truax Airfield. The 115th Fighter Wing of the Wisconsin Air National Guard will be doing evening training flights. F-16 fighter jets will be taking off and landing until about 9 o'clock. This is expected to happen every night through Thursday. Evening training flights are required to prepare pilots and maintenance personnel. The Department of Military Affairs says pilots will follow paths designed to minimize noise to area residents.
All right, 6:06 your time now. The Green Bay Packers are headed to the NFC Championship game after a big win over the Seattle Seahawks.
The Packers started off strong with a touchdown from Davante Adams. Green Bay's defense held through the entire first half, only allowing the Seahawks a field goal. But it was a different story in the second half. Seattle scored 3 touchdowns in 3 possessions, but still trailed the Packers 28-23. The Packers were able to hold on, though, putting them 1 game away from the Super Bowl. Melissa Kim has reaction from Lambeau this morning.
Well, truly a poetic scene out here at Lambeau Field after the Packers' big win over the Seahawks last night to get back to the NFC Championship game for the first time since 2017. And sure, it might have been another ugly win, but as Jimmy Graham told me after the game, still a win. And for guys like him and Davante Adams, veterans on this squad, it was about clutch players making big plays when it mattered.
We have the players. I mean, we got the guys to, get it done on any down. I don't think any defense feels comfortable no matter what the numbers have shown in the past. So, you got Aaron, you got me, you got the rest of our wide receivers and Aaron Jones. A lot of threats all over the place. Jimmy, Mercedes, so it's tough to defend. So we just have to make sure everybody takes care of their piece. They're 1-11, then we'll be good.
We're the worst 13-3 team in the league. I'll say that again. That's what they're saying. We was the worst 13-3 team in the league. They didn't expect us to probably win this game here. I mean, we were favored, I think, maybe by 4 points, but I think they might have did that out of pity.
It was really interesting after the game in the locker room. Yeah, the players were happy, but they weren't overly excited, overly hyped. It was very business as usual, act like you've been there before, which is probably going to be really important come next week because they've got a huge challenge ahead of them at San Francisco. At Lambeau Field, Melissa Kim, News 3 Now this morning.
Thanks, Melissa. Fans tell us even though things got dicey in the second half, they never lost faith.
Second half, no. First half, I was a little worried, but second half, no doubt at all. They had it.
Oh, my God.
They're not excited at all.
Check out that energy. Some say this season has already exceeded expectations, and new head coach Matt LaFleur added a new energy to the team. One fan from Mequon showed just how dedicated of a fan he is. It was his 56th straight game he's been to, both home and away, including playoffs.
It's the fans, it's the Packers, it's the atmosphere, it's tailgating, it's the excitement. There's so many variables that play a role in this, and it's addicting. It's addicting to watch this team, and this season has been the prime example of it.
Dedication, folks.
That's incredible.
Justin is already planning to go to California, where other Packer fans' minds are as well this morning. The Packers face the 49ers, and 49ers at 5:40 next Sunday on Fox.
It was exciting. I went to bed before the game ended, so it was nice to wake up to that.
And we posted a poll online asking folks if they're going to head to California, if they're going to watch from here. Most people watch them from here. I can't imagine how expensive it would be to go to that game.
I think about 6% of people are planning on going so far, so we'll see how that goes.
Pricey,
yeah. Still
pricey.
fun, though, no matter what.
Oh, yeah.
All right, still ahead for us right now on a Monday morning. Wildfires continue to burn across Australia. Coming up, we'll show you the new ways they're working to save the country's wildlife.
And we will continue to track road conditions this morning to help you have a safe drive to work and school. Hattie's in next with your first alert forecast when News 3 Now This Morning returns.
Good morning from the Hattie-O patio. Everything dressed in white once again here in southern Wisconsin. We got another inch or so of snow overnight here in the Madison area. The snow is quickly clearing out of the region, but at least it looks a little bit more like January across the entire state. Thanks to the weekend storms and last night, we now have snowpack across all of southern Wisconsin. Take a look, though, at what's happening this morning. Again, it was a pretty light snow event in most locations. A couple of inches of snow possible overnight, but it is winding down pretty quickly. We'll zoom the map in a little bit here in southern Wisconsin. You can still see a few snowflakes lingering in our far north and northeastern viewing areas. What may be occurring in a few spots, though, is some freezing drizzle, so keep that in mind. For the next hour or so, there's a risk that we may see a little bit of freezing drizzle across southern Wisconsin. Things should be drying out, though, as we go through the day today. Our current temperatures range from 22 in the Dells to 30 in Janesville. Janesville's dropped a couple of degrees just in the last hour. We're holding steady at 27 here in Madison. That high temperature trend this week is very up and down. This is typically some of the coldest time of the week. Our coldest average high temperature, 26 degrees. That's right now. We are well above that, though, for the first part of the week, but we actually drop below that as we head through the weekend into the start of next week. So it's definitely going to be feeling and looking like winter around here. Now, our weather pattern this week is very active. It's going to keep us meteorologists on our toes this week. We'll dry out for the rest of the day today, but another fast-moving storm system will move across the area tonight. These storms are going to be moving through the area pretty quickly, so any accumulation is going to be pretty light, but there is that chance for some freezing drizzle again tonight. Then another storm system lining up for the day on Wednesday. This one may impact the morning and evening commutes. With that snow lasting through the day on Wednesday, some accumulation will be possible. There'll be a break with some sunshine on Thursday. Yet another storm, though, moving in for Friday into early Saturday. This one also could bring some accumulating snow to southern Wisconsin. Our current conditions this morning, 27 here in Madison. No wind chill to talk about this morning. In fact, wind chills across southern Wisconsin are generally in the 20s, so not terribly cold. Your future track forecast model says that you may see a little bit of sunshine for a short time today, right around the lunch hour. Clouds quickly return for the afternoon. Shouldn't have any issues, though, getting around the area through the evening time frame, but overnight, look for that light snow or a little bit of freezing drizzle to occur. Any accumulations, though, are going to be pretty light. Here's a look at your extended forecast. We have temperatures that will generally stay in the 20s and 30s this week. Again, keep Wednesday and Friday in mind for the potential for some impactful snow across the area, then much colder next week. Let's get a look at your first alert traffic maps now. We'll send it over to Stacey K for all the details. Good morning, Stacey.
Good morning. It did snow overnight, so side roads and ramps may still be snow covered. The interstate is just wet. The Beltline is just wet. I'd still slow it down and definitely give yourself some extra time to get to work. Checking out other roads here in Dane County, the usual brake lights are at Stoughton and Park approaching the Beltline. East Washington's still okay at this hour, but expect heavier volume in the coming hours. And other main routes heading into Madison, they're moving along a little slower, but no crashes or delays at this time. With your first alert traffic, I'm Stacey K.
Thank you very much, Stacey, and thank you, Hattie. Breaking overnight into the Channel 3000 Alert Center, a Madison family is out of their home after a garage fire. It happened on Elka Lane near Warner Park on the city's north side. Firefighters there say the family was watching the Packers game when they heard a noise come from the garage. That's where they found smoke and flames. Crews put out the fire within 15 minutes, but the garage plus 2 cars inside were pretty seriously damaged. The house is still filled with smoke. That cause is under investigation.
Also into the alert center this morning, cleanup continues after deadly tornadoes ripped through at least 3 states over the weekend. The governors of Arkansas and Mississippi called states of emergency after heavy rain, flooding, and fierce winds tore down trees. From Texas to Georgia, power outages have left tens of thousands of people in the dark this morning.
And more breaking news now. Black smoke is still hanging over the Philippines after a volcanic eruption. The sudden burst of ash shut down the Manila International Airport, as well as offices and schools. The eruption started on Sunday, but the ash continues to flow this morning. So far, around 8,000 villagers have been relocated to evacuation centers, and that number is expected to grow by the thousands.
New measures are being taken in Australia this morning to save the animals victimized by ongoing fires. Authorities are airdropping more than 2 tons of sweet potatoes and carrots in national parks affected by the brush fires. This comes as the Australian government pledges more than $3 million to restore and protect the country's devastated wildlife. Conservation group WWF estimates 1.25 billion animals have died in the fires so far. It's estimated that as much as 30% of the koala population has been killed.
Puerto Rico is still working to recover from an ongoing series of earthquakes this morning, the latest a magnitude 5.9 over the weekend. The governor of that country estimates $110 million worth of damage just along the island's south coast. More than 1,200 smaller quakes have been detected in the area in the past 15 days. 6:18 now. Citizens in Iran are protesting their government after officials admitted to shooting down a Ukrainian passenger plane.
This after Iranian officials denied shooting down that plane for several days. President Trump has already ordered new sanctions on the country and vowed to never let it have a nuclear weapon. The president said on Twitter that he doesn't care if Iran negotiates with the U.S., but warned leaders not to kill the protesters. Meanwhile, in the U.S., the Senate is expected to vote on a measure aimed at limiting President Trump's ability to launch further military action against Iran.
Back stateside, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is preparing to meet with her caucus tomorrow to decide when to send the articles of impeachment to the Senate. She's warning senators they could, quote, pay a price if they don't hold a fair trial. Pelosi says she doesn't regret holding the articles and believes it's strengthened the Democrats' case for witnesses.
The International Olympic Committee is banning athletes from protesting while on the field in the upcoming 2020 Olympic Games in Tokyo. The IOC says protests will also be banned in the Olympic Village and during medal and other official ceremonies. Athletes will, however, be allowed to express their political opinions during press interviews outside the village and in meetings and on social media. Protests include displaying political messaging, gestures of a political nature, and refusing to follow protocol. If an athlete doesn't follow these guidelines, they'll be disciplined to limit, quote, divisive disruption. Up next on News 3 Now this morning, we're learning more about a train derailment in Wisconsin that could cost $10 million to clean up.
But first, you're taking a live look at what your morning commute's looking like. We're going to keep you updated on the conditions as the morning goes on with team coverage continuing next on News 3 Now this morning.
.23 on a Monday morning. If you haven't looked outside yet, you probably should. You're going to need a little extra time this morning. A little surprise.
Your car might be covered.
Yeah, we made the mistake last night of parking out on the street. Both of us.
Well, I didn't wear gloves today, so I had to dig my car out with my hands.
No.
Bare hands?
Nightmare.
I have my parents' SUV, so I had four-wheel drive and just got right out of it. So.
Yeah. Well, either way, you're going to have to clear off the car a little bit if you park outside, or you're going to have to plan a little extra time to get to your destination. We did have some light snow, about another inch or so here in Madison. Some spots, though, maybe caught a little bit more than that. What you need to know right now, though, is that the snow is pulling out of the area pretty quickly. There's a brief window for a little bit of freezing drizzle this morning, so keep that in mind. Otherwise, our conditions will improve through the day. We are below freezing in all locations this morning. 21 in the Dells, 28 in Mineral Point, 27 here in Madison. Your bust up weather forecast, plan on sending all the snow gear with the kids today. They'll need it for recess today. Temperatures will climb just slightly above the freezing point, though, so it's likely going to be a little messy later on today. Probability of precipitation then again tonight, overnight tonight into early tomorrow. There's another chance for some light snow here.
All right, thank you very much, Hattie. 6:24 your time now. Cities around the state are recovering from this weekend's snow systems.
This includes the port of Milwaukee and Jones Island, where there could be millions of dollars in damage. Take a look at this. At one point, more than 60% of the area was flooded. As crews cleaned up, manholes deteriorated, dock walls, and lots of ice and debris were left behind.
There is a tremendous amount of damage, specifically on our international docks and terminals, those closest to Lake Michigan, in the northeastern section of the port on Jones Island. Our inspections today show that there's damage to the terminal facilities, the buildings, the dock wall.
The port will partially reopen to commercial service this morning, and port tenants can start to assess their property.
Now, along Lake Michigan, many residents are dealing with water in basements and garages, but erosion is leaving this home in Pleasant Prairie dangerously hanging over a bluff. Saturday's storm shattered glass windows at the home, which once had a beautiful view of the lake. Rob Labazg works for the man who rents the home.
In 4th of July, there was about 30 feet that way, out toward the water, and it's been eroding steadily for a while. Something needs to be done about this, and people's homes are going to go in. Which one's next? The house next door?
This is just unbelievable. The property is deemed uninhabitable. Family and friends all pitched in to try and save the renters' personal photos, clothes, and valuables. Luckily, there were no injuries, and no other homes seem to be damaged.
Right now, U.S. Route 12 is still closed this morning after 35 train cars derailed just outside Menominee. It happened just before 4 Sunday afternoon near the town of Knapp. The cars involved weren't carrying hazardous materials, though other cars in the train were. Right now, no injuries have been reported. That closure is expected to last until later this afternoon, and cleanup is expected to cost around $10 million.
Just unbelievable scenes across the state from this winter weather.
Yeah, there really is, and the footage this morning is unbelievable.
Crazy. All right, 6:26 your time now. Keely Arthur's on live drive this morning. Let's check in with her and the latest road conditions. Keely?
Good morning. Yes, you're going to want to drive a little bit slower. Give yourself some extra time. Mark and I are cruising around Madison streets right now, so you are in the know before you head out the door. We'll give you a more in-depth look right after this break.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Thanks for joining us, everyone, on this Monday, January 13th. I'm Josh Brighter.
And I'm Leah Lynchide. We have team coverage of some overnight snowfall with Keely Arthur on Live Drive this morning.
And Hattie McLean's tracking the latest conditions. We'll start with her in the Weather Center. Good morning, Hattie.
Good morning, Josh and Leah. We are starting off with a fresh coating of snow here across southern Wisconsin. Here's a live look from our WISC-TV sky camera on the west side of town. That's Raymond Road. It has been plowed, but there still is some snow left on the road, so take a little extra slow this morning. Here's a look at Doppler track. Our snow is winding down pretty quickly for the area, which is good news. The remainder of the day will be dry. There's an outside chance for a little bit of freezing drizzle yet in the next couple of hours, but otherwise we're forecasting high temperatures just slightly above the freezing point today. We're at 27 right now in Madison, 30 in Janesville, down to 21 though in the Dells. As you head out the door this morning, again, plan some extra time to get to your destination. Roads may be snow covered and slippery. Sidewalks are pretty slippery as well. Temperatures will top at 33 this afternoon. Let's get a peek at those road maps this morning. Your first alert traffic showing you some brake lights showing up on the belt line as it gets a little busier around Park Street and Stoughton Road. No major delays or accidents to tell you about right now. As you head into Madison, you're still going close to posted speeds, but again, plan on giving yourself a little extra time to get to your destination this morning. We do have more snow in the forecast again tonight, so keep those shovels handy. Let's send it over to Keely now. She's actually out on the roads. What are you seeing, Keely?
Good morning, Hattie. Yeah, as you said, really great news that we aren't really reporting any accidents or major delays. Photojournalist Mark Schilling and I have been driving up and down Madison streets all morning long, and they've really improved steadily over the past few hours. I spoke with the Madison Streets Division. They said they had 34 trucks out overnight to help keep the roads safe and make them prepped for the morning commute. I will say, though, while they are wet, there isn't a ton of snow coverage. However, because there was tons of snow over the past 3 or 4 days, the roads are just a bit more narrow. So you're going to have to drive a little slower. You're going to want to give yourself some extra time. Once you are out on the roads, give yourself some time, some extra space between cars. Everyone is kind of figuring out once again how to drive during this typical Wisconsin weather. We haven't really seen it in a few weeks or months. So just try to put on your thinking cap and drive really smart. Avoid any distractions this morning. And I'll send it back to you, Josh and Leah.
Thank you very much, Keely. So Hattie is talking about a number of chances for snow this week. You're going to want to keep an eye on any updates or changes to her forecast over on our Channel 3000 Weather and Traffic app. A reminder, it's free. You can download it right now in your phone's app store.
6:33 right now. The Green Bay Packers are headed to the NFC Championship game after a big win over the Seattle Seahawks. Green Bay's defense held through the entire first half, only allowing the Seahawks a field goal. But it was a different story in the second half. Seattle scored 3 touchdowns in 3 possessions, but still trailed the Packers 28-23. The Packers were able to hold on, though, putting them 1 game away from the Super Bowl. Davante Adams says the team had some of their clutch players making big plays.
We have the players. I mean, we got the guys to, get it done on any down. I don't think any defense feels comfortable no matter what the numbers have shown in the past. So, you got Aaron, you got me, you got the rest of our wide receivers and Aaron Jones. A lot of threats all over the place. Jimmy, Mercedes, so it's tough to defend. So we just have to make sure everybody takes care of their piece. They're 1-11, then we'll be good.
The Packers now head off to San Francisco for a date with the 49ers. This is happening next Sunday at 5:40 over on Fox. It's their first time in the NFC Championship game since 2017.
Our Madeline O'Neill was at Lambeau last night and says the energy at the stadium was like nothing she's ever experienced before.
There is nothing like the energy and spirit at Lambeau Field after a win like this one. Packer fans really back their team. In fact, Sunday's game was the second largest crowd in playoff game history. Fans we spoke with say while things got a bit more dicey in the second half after the dominant first half, they never lost faith. But they do tell us this season has already exceeded all expectations, say new head coach Matt LaFleur has added a new energy to the team. We talked to fans from all over. Packer Nation really spans the country. country and the world. And we know Green Bay fans are dedicated. One fan from Mequon really demonstrates that commitment. This was his 56th straight game he's attended, home and away, including playoffs.
It's the fans, it's the Packers, it's the atmosphere, it's the tailgating, it's the excitement. There's so many variables that play a role in this, and it's addicting. It's addicting to watch this team, and this season has been the prime example of it.
Of course, Justin is already planning to head to California, where other Packers fans' minds are as well. Then fingers crossed for the Super Bowl, but not a bad way to end the home season here at Lambeau. In Green Bay, Madeline O'Neill, News 3 Now this morning.
6:35 is your time right now. Coming up in the morning sprint, we're learning more about a man killed after an accident with an Alliant Energy truck.
And we are continuing to track the latest on snowy road conditions to make sure you and your family are getting to work and school safely this morning. That's when News 3 Now this morning returns. Stay with us.
Welcome back at 6:39. We've been asking you to share your morning with us, and Marianne sent us this sunrise from her turkey blind in Rock County.
Pretty nice perch right there, looking over a little lake.
It's nice to see a little snow on the ground now, too.
It is. We are spoiled with these sunrise photos during the winter. They're beautiful.
If you've got a photo you'd like to share with us, please do so over on our social media pages. Right now, Amazon is looking into how a mom got an unwanted delivery. Natalie Sales says she ordered 2 boxes of diapers from Amazon, as she does every month for her 2 daughters. Sales said when she bought the diapers from the site's Amazon warehouse section, that's where open box and return items are sold at a discounted rate. The package arrived, but the diapers were used.
Picked up the diapers, and it was a little bit heavy. I was half asleep, the lights were off. At that point, I turned on the light, and that's when I noticed these diapers are neatly folded and they are soiled. I couldn't believe it.
I can't believe it either.
Hopefully you're not eating breakfast right now. I'm so sorry if you are. The family hasn't had the substance tested, but says it looks and smells like feces. I feel like that's pretty easy to determine. Amazon's website says the company inspects and certifies all open box products before reselling them. In a statement, an Amazon spokesperson says they are in contact with sales to make that situation right.
Okay, all right. The bathroom is the latest part of your house to be taken over by smart appliances. Kohler's introducing the NuMe 2.0. It features a heated seat, personalized cleansing and drying, and built-in speakers so you can listen to your favorite music. The smart toilet features ambient lighting as well that creates a calming atmosphere while you take care of business. Unfortunately, comfort and luxury don't come cheap. The NuMe 2.0 costs around $8,000.
Just the bathroom break this morning right here in this news.
Unnecessary things for $200 right there. No way.
Oh, what a waste of money.
Jeez.
All right, 6:41 right now. Still ahead for us this morning. We are continuing to monitor road conditions and some light snow and freezing rain this morning. A live look outside. It looks good until you step outside.
You're right, Josh.
Patty will have her latest forecast coming up next.
But first, if you have a little kid turning 3 soon, let us know so we can show their picture on TV. Thanks for watching News 3 Now this morning.
For a forecast that keeps your family safe, watch First Alert Weather. Look at
Well, welcome back. It is a little slick out here. If you're driving this morning, you're going to want to give yourself some extra time, some extra space. 34 street crews were working overnight to keep the roads clear for you this morning, but there are some lanes that are not totally clear, including right here on University. And here with a deeper look at the weather is Hattie. Hi, Hattie.
Thanks, Keely. Yes, the snow that we had overnight is coming to an end pretty quickly. That's the good news, that weather conditions will be improving through the day today. Take a look at Doppler track this morning, and you see that the snow is working its way out of the area to the north and east. There may be yet a little drizzle occurring or some freezing drizzle. That's too light to be picked up by the radar map right now, but things should be drying out as we go through the day. Nothing happening right now across Minnesota or Iowa, so we get a break in this precipitation through the rest of the day. But we're in the middle of a very active weather pattern. Take a look at future track. This is 7 p.m. this evening. Already some precipitation starting to move up from the south and west. This fast-moving storm system will move through the area overnight tonight. There is the potential for some light mixed precipitation here across southern Wisconsin. It's mainly an overnight event, though. We'll get a break in the activity through the day on Tuesday. By Wednesday morning, already likely to see some precipitation returning to the region. Once again, that rain-snow line lines up right across southern Wisconsin, so all types of precipitation in the forecast. This next event on Wednesday may impact the morning and evening commute as it moves through the area through the day. Break again on Thursday, but another storm system for Friday and the first part of the weekend. This next system late in the week right now looks to mainly be snow for southern Wisconsin. So several chances for snow, even some accumulating snow coming up. A live look at the Henry Vilas Zoo, the polar bear habitat this morning. Polar bear probably pretty excited to see that fresh snow on the ground today. About an inch here in Madison. Temperature 27 degrees right now, 22 in the Dells, still 30 in Janesville. Luckily, our winds are pretty light, so we're not talking much of a wind chill this morning. Here's a look at your future track forecast model. Again, starting off with mostly cloudy skies this morning. As we go towards the lunch hour, future track indicating that some of those clouds may clear out of the area. Temperatures will be back to around the freezing point. Any sunshine, though, is going to be pretty short-lived today. Clouds already return for the afternoon. High temperatures in the low 30s for most spots. Now, through the evening hours, we're not looking at any issues getting around the area. That precipitation tonight will hold off until the overnight time frame and then exit the area pretty quickly on Tuesday. So by the time you wake up tomorrow, we're not talking any precipitation falling anymore at that point. Now, as far as accumulations are concerned with this next event tonight, it's likely to be pretty light. Best chances for any accumulating snow north and west of the Dells. We may see some very light accumulations here in Madison, but a pretty minimal event. Now, our extended forecast, though, has temperatures a little bit warmer tomorrow with a high of 39 degrees, close to 40. That snow chance returns on Wednesday. And then again on Friday. Again, keep in mind we still could see some mixed precipitation at times. It does look like it's going to turn much colder, though, heading into next week. Here's our pet walk forecast. Odie and Twinkie and Boynette. It's an inside day for these guys. Probably like every day, but they're super cute.
No walk for these two, huh?
No. I think a cat nap.
Yeah, I agree
Sounds
with
good to me.
Thank you, Annie.
You're welcome.
Morning Sprint is up next. Stay with us.
It's 6:50, time for the morning sprint with the latest on a dicey morning commute to start your work week.
Keely Arthur is out on live drive, but we're going to start with Hattie McLean and the latest forecast. Good morning, Habs.
Good morning, Josh and Leah. We did get some snow overnight, so plan on clearing the whole car this morning before you hit the roads. Don't be that person that just clears the front windshield. The snow is coming to an end, though, pretty quickly today. That is the good news. The rest of the day will be dry. Our temperatures are starting in the mid-20s. Should be a little messy later on today as we climb just above the freezing point to a high of 33 degrees.
We are on Mineral Point Road in Madison right now, and this road looks like how a lot of the main thoroughfares look. They're a little snowy, a little slick, but lots of plows have come through this area. 34 street crews were working overnight to keep you safe on your morning commute. However, you have to do your part too. Be sure to give yourself some extra time, some extra space between those cars as you head out, and we will keep you updated through the 7 o'clock hour as well. Leah?
Thank you very much, Keely. A Madison family is out of their home after a garage fire last night. It happened on Elka Lane near Warner Park on the city's north side. Crews put out the fire within 15 minutes, but the garage and 2 vehicles inside were pretty seriously damaged as the house is filled with smoke. The cause of that fire is still under investigation.
Right now, a milk truck driver is fighting life-threatening injuries after spinning out of control on icy roads. Police say the truck hit a patch of ice over the weekend on County Highway J in Monroe. Officials said the driver wasn't wearing a seatbelt and was thrown from that vehicle, and the airbags didn't deploy. The tank was filled with milk at the time and leaked out during that crash.
The 66-year-old man who was killed in a crash involving an Alliant Energy truck was a former Sun Prairie High School teacher and coach. Police say the Alliant Energy utility truck blew through a stop sign and hit Riggins' vehicle. Both Riggins and his dog were killed in that crash.
U.S. Route 12 is still closed this morning after 35 train cars derailed just outside Menominee. It happened before 4 Sunday afternoon near the town of Knapp. The cars involved weren't carrying hazardous materials, though other cars in the train were. Right now, no injuries have been reported, and that closure is expected to last until later this afternoon. Cleanup is expected to cost about $10 million.
The city of Reedsburg will talk about whether to allow sex offenders to live closer to schools at a meeting later today. Currently, sex offenders can't live within 1,500 feet of schools or community buildings. The city is looking to scale that back to 1,250 feet to offer more housing options. Tonight's meeting is at 7 at Reedsburg City Hall.
Former Madison police officer Wayne Strong is suspending his campaign for the Madison School Board. Strong's name will still be on the ballot since he already submitted paperwork. This was Strong's 3rd attempt to be elected to the school board after losing in 2013 and 14. The other candidate for seat 7 is incumbent Nikki Vandermullen.
You might hear some extra noise around Truex Airfield starting tonight. The 115th Fighter Wing of the Wisconsin Air National Guard will be doing evening training flights. F-16 fighter jets will be taking off and landing until about 9 o'clock. This is expected to happen every night through Thursday. The Department of Military Affairs says pilots will follow paths designed to minimize noise for area residents.
Cleanup continues this morning after deadly tornadoes ripped through at least 3 states over the weekend. The governors in Arkansas and Mississippi called states of emergency after heavy rain, flooding, and fierce winds tore trees down. From Texas to Georgia, power outages have left tens of thousands of people in the dark.
Black smoke is still hanging over the Philippines after a volcanic eruption this morning. Ash shut down the Manila International Airport, as well as offices and schools. So far, around 8,000 villagers have been relocated to evacuation centers, and that number is expected to grow by the thousands.
New measures are being taken in Australia this morning to save the animals victimized by ongoing wildfires. Authorities are airdropping more than 2 tons of sweet potatoes and carrots in national parks affected by the brush fires. This comes as the Australian government pledges more than $30 million to restore and protect the country's devastated wildlife. Conservation group WWF estimates 1.25 billion animals have died so far in those fires.
Puerto Rico is still working to recover from a series of ongoing earthquakes this morning. The latest, a magnitude 5.9, hit over the weekend. The governor of Puerto Rico estimates $110 million worth of damage just along the island's south coast. More than 1,200 smaller quakes have been detected in the area in the past 15 days.
Citizens in Iran are protesting their government after officials admitted to shooting down a Ukrainian passenger plane. President Trump has already ordered new sanctions on the country and vowed to never let it have a nuclear weapon. The president said on Twitter that he doesn't care if Iran negotiates the U.S., but warned leaders not to kill the protesters.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is preparing to meet with her caucus tomorrow to decide when to send the articles of impeachment to the Senate. She's warning senators they could, quote, pay a price if they don't hold a fair trial. Pelosi says she doesn't regret holding on to the articles and believes it's strengthened the Democrats' case for witnesses.
The International Olympic Committee is banning athletes from protesting while on the field in the upcoming 2020 Olympic Games in Tokyo. The IOC says protests will also be banned in the Olympic Village and during medal and other official ceremonies. Athletes will, however, be allowed to express their political opinions during press interviews outside the village and in meetings and over on social media.
We are less than 30 minutes away from finding out who the finalists are at this year's Academy Awards. Nominations will be announced on a live stream this morning. Brad Pitt, Joaquin Phoenix, and Laura Dern are all but guaranteed nominations after taking home top prizes at the Golden Globes last week. But we'll still have to wait a few weeks to see who takes home the Oscar. Hollywood's biggest night is February 9th.
6:56 now. Stacey K has a final look at your First Alert traffic. Hi, Stacey.
Hi. Side roads and ramps may still be snow covered at this time. The interstate is just wet. That line is just wet. I'd still slow it down. Definitely give yourself extra time to get to work. It's already getting busy on the westbound Beltline between Stoughton and West Broadway. Inbound John Nolan already getting busy at the Rimrock and North Shore Drive intersections going downtown. Volume is increasing on East Washington, headed towards the Capitol. And other main routes heading into Madison, they're moving along a little slower, but no crashes or delays at this time. With your First Alert traffic, I'm Stacey K.
Thank you, Stacey. Here's a live look from the Edgewater Skycam. We're talking flurries coming to an end pretty quickly this morning here in Madison and across southern Wisconsin. Look for a few breaks in the cloud cover towards the lunch hour, but high temperatures in the low to mid 30s this afternoon.
All right, Hattie, thank you.
Thanks for joining us this morning, folks. We'll keep you updated on those road conditions throughout CBS this morning. Take it slow out there.